The Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Saw this story yesterday about a bunch of guys went on a bit of an outing.
Okay.
So they went adventuring. They were in outback New South Wales. So when I say outback, I mean in the mountains between, if you were, you know where Canberra is?
Yep.
You draw a direct line between Canberra and the coast. You go through New South Wales and it's about in the middle between the two, right? So it's quite a remote area.
Yep.
And it's cold because it's mountainous, right? Snowy mountains.
Not for me.
It's
Near
winter.
Canberra too.
Yeah, it's winter. They went kayaking. They got stuck. So they were in what's known as a step-sided gorge.
Oh.
They couldn't go forwards and they couldn't go backwards.
Oh, wow.
So that means you're stuck,
Yeah.
right? And luckily, they did all the right things. They had an emergency beacon. They've activated that. So there's five of them were in their 50s and one guy was 26. So I jumped to the conclusion that the 26-year-old was one
son.
person's son. And it was other bunch of mates that have gone out doing a bit of an adventurous thing.
Yeah.
And so they were, obviously they had done everything right. They told everybody what their plans were. So when they were late back and then when the locator beacon was activated, everyone's like, right, we know who this is. We know what's going on. And they went to rescue them.
Smart
So it's inaccessible. The only way in was via helicopter.
Yes.
So there's 6 guys. They send the helicopter in. They get 4 out. They don't have time to get all 6 out.
This is where we started talking because they would have been like, all right, 2 of you have to stay behind, right?
That's right. So 2 had to stay behind for a night, overnight in the cold. But they did leave 2 emergency paramedics with them. So 2 of the
Okay.
rescuers
Yep.
said, we'll stay with you. So they were able to get them gear. It's not like they're just shivering in their kayaking jumpsuit. I don't know, what you wear
No, of
kayaking.
course, a jumpsuit.
But they,
The onesie.
so they were given food and stuff. So they're not going to be left to starve and freeze to death.
But you still got to leave
Yeah,
2
you still
behind.
got left behind.
Yeah.
And they're potentially in danger. And we were arguing because you said I should be left behind. But so the 26-year-old,
So he got left behind.
I would argue for him, he's got more life to live. The 50-year-olds, they've had 25
They've
years
had
on
their
it.
they've had a great time at 50. They should die.
I don't disagree, Ross.
Yeah.
I don't
You've had your
disagree.
time. It's my turn.
But also,
No, but
if
you're
you're
younger,
closer,
fitter.
Yeah, but
You're able to handle the conditions better.
But for those older people, they put money aside to use their superannuation, and they know they're going to get taxed shortly. So it's an opportunity to be able to at least get stuck.
Because they've all got $3 million.
Exactly.
they're sitting there in life or death situation talking about superannuation.
Do you draw lots? Is it just a quick game of
Rock off.
rock off?
You'd have to draw straws because
You're going to be, I mean, I think it's going to come down. There's going to be those people, okay, who you're in the circle, right, and you look around and go, okay, we've got to choose who's going. Next thing you look is George Costanza, and he's already in the helicopter with 2 other people.
Well, that's you.
And then,
So you've gone.
and then you've got to be that person who takes on and go, yes, I'll stay.
It's the honourable thing to do if you think you're fitter. So the 26-year-old, I imagine he did say something like that, like, yeah, I'll stay. I'm young, I'm fit. He didn't go you've lived more
No,
life.
but do you reckon his dad's pressured him into it? You're staying behind.
The dad, you'd think as a dad, you'd be like, no, he shouldn't stay. You'd want him to come
You'd
with you.
sacrifice yourself for your
Yes,
son.
definitely.
But he didn't.
You wouldn't. You'd be like, see your kids, you're on your own.
We're going to spend that superannuation.
Look, we want to know if you've had to leave somebody behind, or maybe you're the one that got left behind because I don't know, whatever the reason might be. It doesn't have to be a dramatic helicopter rescue.
But I like the sound of it.
Maybe it's just like going on holidays and there wasn't enough seats in the car. So they're like, oh, well,
Sorry.
I guess you stay behind. Whatever it might be.
Yep.
Was there a conversation about who got left behind and then who got left behind?
Just quickly, I did have one. We were hot air ballooning in Turkey, and there was an issue with the balloon.
Wow, who would have guessed?
I'm going to Turkey in a few weeks. Should I do this or not?
I will never do it again. So he goes, we got to go down, and someone's got to quickly jump out. So we've got to leave someone behind.
Sorry. You're going up in a paid hot
Air balloon. And there was an issue, and they said we've got to lose weight. All right, so someone's got to be left behind. We're going to quickly go down, and as soon as we go down, someone's got to jump out.
Out of the basket.
Out of the basket. Half the guys there were much older, and they had knee issues. My dad had knee issues. So as soon as we went down, before it was decided,
They literally just turfed you out.
Yeah, I was happy to get out because it was dangerous. I wanted to be left
I
behind.
know, but you're like skinny. That's not really helping.
Well, I didn't give them time to think about it. I jumped out and less
Hero.
than 70 kilos, and they kept going up. So I was
So
like,
how close to the ground were they? Were they on the ground?
so
Or-
I knew it was coming, so they're quickly going down, and as soon as it just before it touches, I jump out, and then they go back up.
How's the sound effects?
I know, it's like we
I
were
thought it
there.
was Police Academy then.
It's like we were there and you weren't because you jumped out.
Yeah.
Chantel's in Sterling. Morning, Chantel.
Good morning.
Hey, Chantel.
Okay, when did you have to have this sort of a conversation about leaving someone behind, Chantel? What happened?
Taylor Swift was coming to Australia, and my daughter and all her friends had gotten online because you could only buy 4 tickets
Yeah.
at a time. So we were going to fly from Perth over to Sydney and go see her.
Yep.
So she managed to get her 4 tickets, and another one of her friends was going to go to Melbourne, and she was unable to get tickets at all. So the 4 tickets we got were going to be for my daughter and myself and one of her friends and her mum.
Yep.
And I felt so sorry for her friend that couldn't get tickets at all that I rang her mum and said, how about I don't go? Would she like to come to Sydney with us? And they can go in. So she took my ticket and the 4 of them went in and I stayed outside like Chantel, no mates. So
They were just outside the
my
stadium
story.
Listening.
and listening in.
What did you do while you were outside? Just
listen.
Well, what the other mum that was going, she ended up giving her ticket away as well to one of her work colleagues because she couldn't get a ticket and she was a diehard Swiftie. So we actually all stayed outside. The other mum came as well, so it was us 3 mums outside on a blanket, and you could hear everything from outside.
Yes.
So we were outside with thousands of people.
Yeah.
So we just listened to it from outside.
Oh.
So it was still pretty good.
In these
And also-
circumstances, you've got to shake it off.
Yeah, and you get...
Stop
sin
it.
bin, get out.
Yeah. Sorry about that,
No
Chantel.
support there, I'm afraid.
Apologies.
Thanks,
Really?
Chantel.
Everybody?
You're a great person. Let's go to Andrea in Averley. Good
Sam.
morning, Andrea.
Morning, how are you?
Great,
Thanks,
Andrea.
Andrea.
Now talk to us. Who got left behind and how did you decide?
Okay, so it wasn't me, but I was working at a venue in the Swan Valley and was renowned for always, having the party buses.
Yes.
And one afternoon there was a party bus there with, a huge crowd. And then it left and one of the people got left behind and that person happened to be Nick Nat and Nui.
Right, so nobody noticed that Nick Nat wasn't on the bus.
Look around the room.
How is that possible?
Fijian. How do we miss that guy?
Yeah, I know. And so he came in and ended up having to call an Uber because they managed to forget him.
Poor Nick.
Wow.
That is so
That would-
funny.
He'd really be questioning himself, wouldn't he? Have I not made?
Yeah,
Haven't I not made enough of an impact on this busload of people? That's
Yeah.
amazing, Andrea. Thank you. Wasn't expecting that.
No.
Michelle's in Hammy Hill. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Michelle.
We're talking about being left behind. What happened?
Love the show. Love the show.
Thanks, Michelle.
Well, this is actually happening right now.
Yes.
My partner got invited on a 52-foot catamaran
Yeah.
to sail Tahiti and
Ooh.
French Polynesia.
Whoa.
That's cool.
Yes. And I was invited. However, I had to work. So he's now sailing around, chasing, going kite surfing, chow pool. Sean, you can relate.
Yes.
Yes, that's where the
Surfing, right.
Olympic
That's the
surfing
Olympic
was
surf.
held.
I would
Yeah.
never take that on.
Yeah.
Yeah, too thick the wave.
Yeah. Yes.
Fabulous time in French Polynesia, and he's posting sunsets and palm trees, and here I am in this weather.
Michelle, that is
Michelle.
amazing. I would be so jealous.
I'm devastated for you.
French Polynesia, imagine pulling up into some of those islands that are just out of the middle of nowhere. Just
Don't
those
rub it
bays.
in.
Yeah.
She's stuck in Hammy Hill.
Michelle,
Eating crayfish, catching fish, living off the land.
And see,
Yeah, thanks, Sean.
yeah, Michelle, when he calls, what's your attitude like when you're on the phone to him?
you're a bit salty, pardon the pun.
Well, of course, there's a big time difference, so he sort of calls at inopportune times, and I'm like, well, it's raining here, and he said I'm sitting with short, and it's really warm and fabulous, and
How
hard
annoying.
to take.
Yeah,
no,
sorry to hear.
I'm really sad for you, Michelle. That's awful.
This is the Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
trust is a big thing. It's very important to me. And
Trust.
I'm starting to lose trust.
Me too. I've read the
This is
same
a terrible story.
thing. It is, yeah.
So Choice magazine, who they test, they're on the consumer's side. So they test products and they tell you which ones are the good ones and which ones you should avoid, right? They tested sunscreen that says it's 50 plus to see if it was indeed 50 plus.
This has happened before, and there's been a real there's been some real ordinary work by some of the sunscreen manufacturers for a long time.
Here are
Let's
the
go to the
numbers.
stats, Ross.
20 sunscreens were tested, and these are ones we use. We'll get to the specifics in a second.
Please do.
4 met the advertised SPF label claimed. Now, a lot of the brands...
4 out of 20 is
4 out
not
of
great.
20.
Wow.
A lot of the brands
20%.
dispute this, but here is the
your
best
friends.
and worst performers. The worst performer was the most expensive of the lot, all right? So it's Ultraviolet's Lean Sunscreen SPF 50 plus. Mattifying zinc sunscreen, 50 plus. It costs $52, 75 millilitres.
Yeah,
And
75 mils. It's a little tube. That's small.
They're
You can take that on an international flight in the cabin.
Yeah.
their test said it advertised SPF 50 plus. They saw it as a rating of 4.
So it had an SPF of 4.
4. So, and they actually, they
They
were
were so gobsmacked that they sent it to a German laboratory to be retested.
Are you kidding?
and the German lab got it to 5. So that's what they found.
They got it to 5.
But the ultraviolet people said they then emergency tested it themselves, like whoever that does
Yeah.
everything, and said that it came in at 61.
Yep,
And it's
61.
like, well, there's a big disparity there.
Okay, now, and we've got the same brands but very different results. Neutrogena's Sheer Zinc Dry Touch Lotion says it's SPF 50, came in at 24 SPF.
Phonies.
But then the Neutrogena Ultra Sheer Body Lotion, it says it's SPF 50, that came in at 56. So
you've got to be.
Oh, that's the guy in the lab. He's just overcooked it. He's put
Yeah,
it,
so-
he's filling the bucket.
or he undercooked it, but like that's and one of the best ones again, Cancer Council, which is
Now,
nice.
you would trust the Cancer Council. Obviously,
Yep.
it is in their best
Everybody's
interest
got Cancer Council.
to be
and Banana
preventing cancer.
I actually have this one. It's a hit and miss with them. For the good one, their kids' sunscreen, they had an SPF of 52.
Yes.
So that was good. But there was a bunch of them in the, let's have a look in the 20s one.
Yeah, let's give us some other ones. Because Ross, I just mentioned Banana Boat, right? A lot of people have Banana Boat and Cancer Council.
Yeah, so that one
Sunscreens.
is a Cancer
I've got that
Council
one at home.
Cancer
yeah, so
Council.
that's 20
Ultra Sunscreen says SPF 50, return to test at
of 24.
24.
It's one of the kids' ones as well in there, I think.
Let's have a look. Keep going. Oh, there we go.
Yep.
This is everyday. I use this one. Cancer Council everyday. 50 it says, and 27.
Come on.
And they went through 20 of them. And actually, I'd recommend checking this out on the ABC website because
Yep.
they've got all of them, and you can see if yours does it. The main takeaway one of the doctors said, don't let this stop you using these sunscreen.
Yes.
Just use more of it, and then you can.
Overcompensate. So don't rely on the 50 plus. Just keep lathering it on
Yeah. I mean, 4.
before you think you need it again.
It is pretty ordinary. It is very ordinary, should I say, because if you're putting a level out there, and particularly for skincare like this, in a climate that we live in and you're full of shit, to be perfectly honest.
And ones that are saying they're for kids.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like that's.
And you know what the other thing is? I mean, we've got Cancer Council like everybody have.
Yes.
They need to come up to they need to be at they need to be the standard
Yes.
across Australia. But the other one thing that gets me
So
now,
some of theirs were good, but not all of them. And it's like, so you can't rely on the brand alone.
yeah. But the other thing these days, and I dare say everyone's caught in this, when you find an expensive one and it's supposed to be organic and all this shit,
You
where do
assume
they
that
land up?
expensive means better,
Yeah.
and that's not the case.
No.
Yeah.
We'll put a link on our Insta so you can check them all out as well.
You got the sun bum up there?
Yep, Sunbum, that's
And what about the
40, so
moisturiser
it's
stuff?
40.
that's
Yeah.
a 40, says it's 50, so I mean, so it's 40, so I mean,
Yeah.
in the
Close
scheme
enough.
of
Not
things,
horrendous. Yeah.
It's not that bad. Nivea one,
Oh, people have got
Yeah.
that one.
Moisture Lock, says 50 plus, it's 40. So,
But is that a case where you just say, oh, close enough? Just put the lid on it. Put the lid on it, Ross.
yeah,
Close
I'll
enough.
do. I'll send her out. But yeah, so yeah, check them out because
Check 'em out.
these sunscreens we all use.
We do. These are your everyday brands that you're buying at the supermarket, except for that ultraviolet one, which is really expensive and you buy online, and Instagram is always sending me ads for it.
Yeah, can't afford it anyway, so no probs.
Oh, I can. No kids. Hey, no kids over here.
Ross.
Okay.
Sorry, Ross.
Remember
sorry.
that? Remember those days?
It's the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
60 years we're celebrating, everybody.
This is the 95 theme.
Old school news then.
How good.
Tomo, you would have still been working then, weren't you?
Absolutely.
When did you start?
87.
87 when the West Coast Eagles first came into iteration.
Murray Renstead having that shot for goal.
Yeah.
Who could forget? 87, which is... so for the 60 years, I've been there for nearly two-thirds of it.
Yeah.
And what a legend. I've told this story many a time before. But
Hang on, Ross.
Tomo, when I was about 19 years old, I'm 38 now, I went into Channel 9 for work experience. And I was, some of the journos, not there now, would kind of like laugh at me because, you got to be with the work experience guy, you got to take him out on the road. But then at one stage I was on a desk, I was doing my uni assignments because they gave me nothing to do. Tomo came up to me and goes, come with me, son. And then he took me into the studios, he showed me around, he showed me how it all worked, and I was like, I want to be like this guy one day.
Yeah.
He was an absolute
Me
legend.
too. Yeah.
Seeing him
Still is.
being the face of Nine, and just an absolute legend, Tomo. So thank you for all that time ago.
Ross, absolute pleasure. Always think that when... There's nothing more sort of when you come in, you're young into a newsroom, you sit there and everyone's busy and they tend just to leave you there.
Yes.
And they did.
It's a similar story
Yes.
to when I met
TiVo.
TiVo.
Yes. So I did work experience with Channel 9 when I was 15.
Yeah.
And the lovely Michael Thomson was there, and I went out on the road with Tomo,
Yep.
and we went to Peter Matera's house.
Yeah, right.
Did he know you were coming?
I know. He didn't want us to
No,
be
he didn't
there.
want us to be there. And Tomo remembers the story, but I was just like, this is the best day ever, because I'm a Mad Eagle supporter.
Yes.
So-
Yeah.
Sorry, Sean.
Well, Peter Matera. I love Peter
Yeah.
Matera.
And then I was like, we're going to Peter Matera's house. Oh, my God, this is great. But no, Tomo, again, similar story to you, Ross,
Yep.
just so welcoming. And for me, it's such a privilege to be able to sit next to him and work alongside him
Cut it
at
out, you
9.
No, I agree.
No,
I actually agree.
I
100%
find
agree.
I'm still a bit, I don't know. I
You've
find
done
it
nothing for
surreal.
my career, Tomo.
Can I say, I'm jumping in on the bandwagon because you were both brilliant to work with when I was there for a couple of years. But when I first walked in the doors, Greg Pearce I used to do some
Yes.
practice with, and Dixie Marshall.
Yep.
And it's the same with you guys. When you're presenting on the TV, you're doing it a particular way. When the cameras stop, no one swore more than Dixie Marshall,
Oh, no,
and I
true.
swear.
No,
I swear a lot.
I have experienced that as well. Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely. George Grilicic had Dixie covered, though. Georgie on his day, off mic, although occasionally it seemed to get on mic as well.
Oh, that's
but
fun.
That's one of the things, Tracy and I, when we were looking at this special, you look back and think of all the people that have gone through this station.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so much has changed. The change has been dramatic, beyond belief.
And the team who's put this together, they've had to obviously sift through so much archival footage, and we've had a look at it, and there's so many shows or snippets or even news stories. Like, I forgot about that, and of course it's been 60 years.
Yeah.
So it was really hard to pack everything into a 90-minute special, but it's a real nostalgic journey and a lot of fun.
That's on tonight. Tomo, what are some of the biggest changes from your point of view that you've seen, maybe analogue, live news or whatever it is, to now?
The biggest change
Horse and
to
cart.
me is the biggest change is not a TV change. It's this thing I'm holding in my hand, the mobile phone, because now just about everything is covered. So whatever happens, someone, even it just blows me away. There was that plane crash in America. People are getting off the plane. Someone is getting off to save their life because they thought it was going to blow up. And they're filming it with their phone. And the air host says, put your phone away and get off the plane. So we have pictures of what it's like inside. Road rage. We'd never get a picture of road rage. But someone gets out of a car. There are pictures of just about everything.
But even
that
doing
happens.
interviews, I mean, for you guys, it's, you guys can do audio, but for us, we need visuals. So now even just doing, and I think the pandemic changed it a lot for us. We can do Zoom calls, FaceTime calls. We can actually do interviews like that instantly now, which is great, from anywhere in the world. So that's changed a lot for us. When I started, it was tape to tape, like VHSs or the big tapes, and we'd be sitting in the editing suite.
Literally slicing tape up.
Literally slicing tape up and piecing our stories together. So that's been a huge change, but everything's just
Now everybody can do that on TikTok.
Yeah, exactly.
What about the fun you've had? I'll start with you, TV, and then I'll get into Tomo.
Oh, gosh.
What's the best thing you've done?
The best thing I've done? Oh, so many. Oh, gosh, that's a really hard one. Tomo, you might. Can you?
Well,
go?
Tomo,
London Olympics was probably the best fun I've had for like 3.5 weeks. That was incredible. I was commentating there. That was really good.
What did you do, Tomo?
I did weightlifting.
Yes. Love it.
You are a famous weightlifting expert too, aren't you?
Razazadeh from Iran won the super heavyweight. And
you get to say snatch a lot.
Yeah.
That's also a bonus, isn't it?
The old clean and snatch. And they asked me beforehand, do you know much about weightlifting? I said, are you kidding? Of course.
You should see my bench press. Unbelievable.
So, I did that. That was great fun. Doing just add water, things like that. You know,
Just add water, I love.
that was great fun.
Because you love your fishing.
Yeah, and that was really cool. And it was local production. Ross was on a version of...
Yeah, we did Just Add Water together.
Just Add Water.
Oh, Ross, come on.
Yeah, he did. And look, that was a lot of... And it's probably the same here when it's live. You do laugh a lot because everyone, you're on air in your life. Yes. And when you get off or when things happen, it just breaks things up. So there's always been a great sense of humour, hasn't there, Tiva? We always have a laugh. Even something very serious, you can still look at the funny side of it.
I think for me, the enjoyable part of it is live and it gets your blood pumping as well.
Yes.
I think just...
that adrenaline
the unknown
rush.
as well. I think now thinking back of one of the, memorable moments through my career when I was a political reporter in Canberra. I did 5 weeks on the road for the federal election. I was following Tony Abbott.
Were you there when
there might be opinions about Tony Abbott, but
Were you there when he bit into the onion?
No, that was
legendary.
I know.
Oh, to be there on that day.
This is delicious.
Yeah.
No, so that was 5 weeks, and we had no idea where we were going. So we'd jump on a plane with his media team, and we weren't allowed to know until we were pretty much getting onto going into land. All right, guys, you're in this city now.
So every day was a mystery flight.
Every day was a mystery flight, absolutely, and that was a lot of fun.
Wild.
And I got to go.
It's like, do I need a jacket, Tony? Come on.
No, and we would ask the media team, look, guys, we kind of need to know what we need to wear for the next day, and it took us to places in Australia that I would never have dreamed of going to. So that was a lot of fun. But I think just the live elements. There's nothing like it. Yeah,
it sort of gets into your blood, I think, and it's a crazy world. It's pretty crazy. Commercial radio, commercial TV.
Yeah,
yes.
They are, and look, we're going through interesting times now with what's happening with streaming and all sorts of different things. So we've got to diversify and get different. But that's exciting.
And the 24-hour news cycle, like things that we turn through news much faster than we used to.
Well, our afternoon block now, and it used to be in the old days. Remember, Gilligan's Island was at 5.
Yes.
Tracy, you remember?
McHale,
yes, I do. Actually.
Then you might flick over and watch F Troop and all that. That was F Troop. Now it's 4 o'clock. It's Monica News. We've got Tipping Point News, and then Tipping Point, and then 7 o'clock news, and a current affair. So there is a big cycle. We've got Late News, which Tracy hosts and Natalia hosts, and that's a network show that comes out of Perth, which is great. There's a news show that comes out of here pretty much every night that goes around the country, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Can I ask you about integrity in the news? Because sometimes, and being on the other side of the fence, particularly in the sporting landscape, people are coming at you with angles, and sometimes on various newses, people want to add the GST to stories and make us panic in a way. What does that mean to you?
Well, we've discussed this, I think, a lot over the last few days, Tomo. I think we always are measured, and you have to remain measured. I think that's our role as journalists, right? Unbiased. We're not, we don't editorialise unless it's like, again, if it's a sports story or, you can get an opinion in that. It's like we asked Pav for his opinion.
I like that.
Things. But you have to play it straight. And the thing that we're battling at the moment is everything online.
Yes.
You've got social media journalists out there who are putting out spinning opinions, which are not true.
Yes.
So we're having to battle through that too. And I think for us, having that senior experience in the newsroom, in the building, that really helps.
I think too, you've got to be, and if you're looking at stories and you're true to yourself, you've got to look at something and think, okay, what is the essence of this story and how do we deliver it? And certainly some of the work that we've done in asking people what they want, you don't need to put the cream, the ice cream and the fudge on top as well. Just give them the story.
Yes.
People are getting fed up, and we were guilty of it. 7, 10, commercial TV of going way over the top in those days, sometimes in saying, oh, this is the most amazing thing you're going to ever see. I think people just skip
People see through it a bit now, don't they?
Absolutely.
Powerful enough.
Yeah, leave that to the Daily Mail.
Just give us the news. We just tell us what the news is, because there's a lot of competition out there. As TiVo said, we are obviously governed by, we've got a full-time lawyer who's looking at, we have to legally, and we have to get things right. A lot of the stuff on social media, you see, there are no boundaries. No. So it's just getting up there. So we can hopefully still fill that line, which is straight news, which is we uphold the ethics of
trusted
journalism is about.
If you watch us, you're getting what's right.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, we love your work.
We love it.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, we love when you guys come in. It's always great to have you in the house. Check out Celebrating 60 Years, a must-see special television event. It's tonight on Channel 9 and 9 Now at 7:30. Tomo, TiVo, thank you.
Thanks
so much for coming in.
Nathan, Nat and Shaun is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au. Nova.